Hi guys, hello, welcome to the first session for website development. Uh, Runal, we've already met. Today we also
Yeah,
have Nitesh with us. Hi Nitesh, how are you doing? Nitesh, can you hear me? Hi Sachin, hi Nitesh, can you guys hear me? बात करता हाँ? Hello. Runal, you can hear me, right?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So welcome to the very first session for website development, guys. Today we are going to be starting off with a few basics for the website first, right? Not get into the practical stuff. We'll not start building it right away. We'll first understand how we go about it, and then we'll start building it in tomorrow's session. Right? So that's what our agenda for today is. We'll just create a foundation for the entire website. Right? I am sharing my screen. I'll also be preparing notes along with you guys. Right? So you guys can take a look at my notes and you can also create your own alongside. This session is being recorded. The recording will be shared with you guys tomorrow and it will be uploaded in your LMS accounts, right? By 2 to 3 p.m., it will be there in your LMS. Great. So, Nitesh and Sachin, since this is your first session, can you just let me know what city are you joining in from? Just give me a quick intro, a very short intro if it's okay. We'll start with Nitesh. Nitesh, if you can hear us.
Hello, my name is Nitesh Kumar. I'm 20 years old and I'm a graphic designer and a website developer.
Oh, you are a website developer.
Yes.
That's great. Okay. So I do you have some experience with WordPress before this?
No, I'm just HTML, CSS.
Got it. So not really with WordPress, but you create coded websites, right?
Yes.
Got it. Okay. Thank you, Hitesh. Sachin, can you please introduce yourself?
Hello, sir. I am Sachin Rathod. I am from Khandwa, MP, and I am a college student now.
What degree are you pursuing, Sachin?
I am pursuing BTech CS, sir, Computer Science.
Got it. Okay. So you also have some level of understanding about languages and stuff like that. Although that's not our main goal
Yeah,
in these sessions. But yeah. Perfect.
yes, sir.
And I already know you. We've already met yesterday. So okay. For you both, I my name is Yash, as you guys can see on your screens, right? And I have been a part of Digital Vidya for around 3.5 years now. I'm managing the operations team, like I'm a part of the operations team, and I also lead the website sessions and the getting started sessions, right? And the schedule that you have received for 4 days, that is 2 days this week, 2 days next week. I'm going to be leading all of these 4 sessions. And if required, we can also do a doubt session in the next week. Right? So in total, we can have a total of 5 sessions for this. Now, we have two people here, two participants here who already know about languages and stuff, who are from kind of a technical background, I would say. But nonetheless, it's not really required for these sessions because we are going to be building our website on such a platform that is WordPress, where you don't really require to know all of these languages. There are no prerequisites for that, right? you can just get into it and start building your website with a few clicks, some drag and drop functionalities, and basically without any coding. Right? That is what WordPress is doing for us. Now, before we get started with the website, I have a few questions. We'll just do a type of a question and answer first, and then we'll proceed further. Right? I want this to be a like interactive session, so I would I would be much happier if you guys can also interact with me, put up your questions in front of me, so that it can be a two-way communication instead of just me speaking for the entire session.
Sure.
Right? Okay. So the first question is, what is a website? And what there are two things that I'm looking for. There are two things that you need for a website before you can get started and you can build your website. What are those two things? And what is a website? Does not need to be an definition. Yeah, go on. Sorry?
We have to design, like we have to design the website. And then we have to decide the domain.
Uh-huh. So two requirements for the website. My question is two requirements. What are the two things that are required for any website before you can get started and you can get build the website? There are two things that you need. And a very simple question: what do you think a website is? You can use examples as well. Nitesh and Sachin, you guys are also welcome if you want to answer.
And
Yes, Lulu. Your voice is cracking up a little bit.
domain and host, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. The two requirements. And what do you think a website is? Like, according to you, you can use examples also. Like I said, what do you think a website is?
We can use the website as a business platform also. And to
It can be used as a business platform, online platform. Yep. Right. And anything else? Ritesh, Sachin, you guys have anything to
representation of any business or service.
It is what? Yes.
Online representation of any business and service.
Right. But we can use it for other purposes as well, right? But yes. Sachin, you have anything to contribute? I know I'm pointing out each one of you because I want you guys to interact. Don't. Right. Yeah.
बिजनेस एंड सर्विसेज के लिए यूज कर सकते हैं एंड अदर
Right. Okay. So all three of you, Malab, the crux is that it is used for a business or service, right? It is sort of an online representation of the business, right?
Okay.
So that is correct. That is true. If you have a business, if you have a product, if you have a service, you can represent it online using a website, right? But there can be multiple types of website. It does not need to be a product website or a service website. Essentially, it does not need to be a business e-commerce website, is what I mean, right? If you want, you can also create a website. You can create a portfolio website. You can create a blogging website. Then there is e-commerce website. Then there are a bunch of other types of websites as well. So in short, you can say that a website is an online presence, an online entity in order to showcase yourself or your product or your service to the world on the internet. Right? It's a collection of pages and posts You can add multiple pages, you can add multiple posts and try to showcase your product, your service, or yourself as well, right? To people on the internet. That is what a website is basically, right? There can be multiple pages, multiple posts, a single page. You can just enter any URL here in the URL bar. You land on that website and you'll be able to read about the website itself, if it is for a person, if it is for a brand, whether it is representing something else, you'll be able to find it out on it, right? And then there are two things that are required for a website, like Runal mentioned. One is hosting, and the other one is a domain name, right? So, what is a domain name and what is a hosting? According to you guys, what do you think a domain name is? Let's start with domain first.
Domain is like identity, the name of the website now.
Mhm.
Thing like we can create our website or we can build our like website on the hosting.
Yeah, you are building it on the hosting. Yes. Yeah, close enough. Yes, that is correct. It is a platform that you're building your website on, and it it serves as the name, the domain name. It serves as the name of your website. That is true. Uh, but it's not just the name of your website. The domain name is not just the name of your website. It's also serving as the address of the website, right? Because how it is serving as the address? Because whenever you search for a domain name in your URL bar, your browser takes you to that place wherever that website is hosted, right? In order for that to work, you need to have a domain name connected with your hosting. Before domain names were in existence, before people were using domain names, you had to remember IP addresses for every website that you wanted to visit. Right? So if you wanted to visit a website, you'll have to enter its IP address, then your browser will take you to that website. But to make it easier for human interaction, for human understanding, domains were created. There still is an IP address. There is an IP address for every website, even your laptop, even your desktop, your phone, your internet. Everything has an address of its own as well, right? But these websites, the websites that you are building or whatever websites you are going to be building, they'll also have an IP address which will be connected with the domain name for us to understand, basically for humans to understand, right? So domain name is something that we can understand, and IP addresses are the things that your browsers can understand. The system itself can understand IP addresses. So whenever you're searching for a website, let's say you search for Digital Vidya's website, digitalvidya.com. I'm just entering the name. But on the background, what's happening is when I press enter here, it will send a request to my domain name first, wherever my domain name is. It will send a request there, it will look for the IP address, right? And then it will take me to that IP address. The host will send the files of my website or this website to my browser, and that is how I will be able to see the website. So all of that is going on in the background as soon as you press enter. Considering that, you can you can say that it's pretty fast, right? It's everything is happening very fast. You just enter it and the website loads in front of you pretty quickly. And all of these things are connected to each other. So your domain is connected to the IP address. IP address you get from your host.
Hello.
Yes, Nitesh.
ये जो डिजिटल विद्या का वेबसाइट है वो उसमें बनाया हो क्या वर्डप्रेस पे?
हाँ नितिश, वर्डप्रेस पे है।
अच्छा,
राइट, इवन जो आपको पोर्टल का एक्सेस मिलेगा, अभी आई थिंक नितेश आपको मिल गया है, भार्गव को मिल गया है, द एलएमएस अकाउंट दैट यू गाइस हैव, वो भी वर्डप्रेस अकाउंट पे ही, वर्डप्रेस पे ही बिल्ट है। राइट, तो अगर आप training.digitalvidya.com पे जाओगे, दिस इज द एलएमएस पोर्टल बाय द वे, जहाँ पे आपको सारा कंटेंट मिलेगा, प्रेजेंटेशंस, क्विजेस एंड असाइनमेंट्स, ये भी वर्डप्रेस पे ही बिल्ट है। दिस इज आल्सो बिल्ट यूजिंग वर्डप्रेस। एंड a lot of the times, whatever website you're visiting, WordPress is very popular, by the way, right? So almost there was a time when almost 50% of the websites were built on WordPress. Whatever websites you were visiting, there was a 50-50 chance that you're visiting a WordPress built website, right? It has reduced a bit now because there are multiple other platforms like WordPress that are coming out. It has come down a little, but it's still very popular. So yeah, so domain name is the address of the website. Coming back, domain name is serves as the address of the website and also the name of your website, like you said. And hosting, in layman term, if I were to explain, it is a space for your website, right? This is where your website is stored. All of the files for your website, whatever you are uploading, everything is stored on this hosting service, right? There are multiple types of hosting. We'll not get into that. We'll not get into very technicalities into it. But just know that hosting is where your website's files are stored, right? And the host, whatever hosting service or hosting provider you guys will be taking up, they have the technology to first of all store your website and also make it available online for everybody to view. Because that is also important. You don't just want to store your files in a place because uska koi file nahi hai. Nobody will be able to access that, right? So jab tak aap use online, you don't put it up online, nobody will be able to access it, and the hosting provider does that for you, right? We'll get into domains first, then हम hosting पे जाएंगे. We'll also take a look at the platform from where you guys have to purchase the domain and hosting. That is Hostinger, right? Hostinger एक platform है. It provides hosting and domain name both. So this is where you have to purchase it. We'll take a look at that towards the end. Let's start with domains first. ठीक है, थोड़ा सा we'll go just a bit, मतलब ऐसे iceberg तक जाएंगे and then we'll come back to hosting, right? We'll not dive very deep into the technicalities once again in any of these things. We'll just understand what all of this is and then we'll come back to hosting. ठीक है, so domain name सबको पता है what a domain name looks like. It looks like this, right? In the URL bar you have www.digitalvidya.com. This is the domain name for Digital Vidya's website. And for this website, that is the learning portal, you still have digitalvidya.com, but the text before that changes, right? Over here we have training.digitalvidya.com and over here we have www.digitalvidya.com. So we'll understand how that happens, and combined all together, this is your domain name. It can be www.digitalvidya.com, it can be blog.digitalvidya.com, it can be training.digitalvidya.com, it can be anything that you want to do, right? And this .com can also change depending on the type of website that you're visiting. In a lot of the websites, you will see a .in, right? In some websites, you will see .co.in. In some websites, you can see .shop, .blog, .store, etc., etc. All of these things can also be seen on different websites. But all together that is your domain name. So if we combine the name, that is the business's name, the product's name, the service name, your website's name basically. So if we combine the website's name and the extension, it becomes your domain name. The last bit of your domain, this .com, this is known as extension. Right? These are the extensions for your domain name. In the center, you have your domain name itself, that is the brand's name or the business's name. And before this, www dot, this is the subdomain. Right? So we have a subdomain. If we want to divide it, we have a subdomain, the domain name, and the extension. These are also known as TLD, top level domains. The examples that I use .com, .co, .in, .us, .nz, etc., etc. The bottom, the ending part of the URL, the domain name, is known as the top level domain or the extension. Then the center part where your product's name is, where your business's name is, that is known as second level domain, right? In this case, in the example that we just saw, that is Digital Vidya. It can be Amazon, it can be Digital Vidya, or any other brand that you're visiting, the brand's name will come here. That is second level domain. Finally, the very first leftmost part of your URL of the domain name is known as the subdomain. Usually, you will see www dot, like I said, most of the times you will see www, right? Or there will be no subdomain, just like here on this website. This is just notepad.com. There is no subdomain here, right? So it can be either this or www dot. Most of the times you'll encounter these two things. But there can be other subdomains also that can be added. One of the examples that we just saw, training dot, that is before digitalvidya.com, right? So training.digitalvidya.com, training dot is the subdomain in that case. There can be another example that you can see is, it is blog.digitalvidya.com. That website is, I think, down at the moment. Let me see if it is still working so that we can take a look at it. Yeah, I think it's down, it's not working. But yeah, this can also be an example. If we wanted to create a blogging website, a separate blogging website, then we'll create a blog.digitalvidya.com website, right? Now, in all these three cases, Digital Vidya is same. Digitalvidya.com remains the same, just the subdomain is changing, right? So how that happens is, you can decide what subdomain you want. The one that you get when you're purchasing a domain name is www dot. This is by default in most of it. But if you want, you can create others as well. Like I said, training dot or blog dot. Whatever it is, it can be created after you've purchased the domain. Okay, so you are not purchasing the subdomain. Whenever you're purchasing a domain, you are not purchasing the subdomain separate. You can create whatever subdomains you want. That is one. But the static part of it, that is the second level domain and the extension, these are static parts, right? So you're purchasing both of these things together. If in future you want to change your domain name, you want to change your extension, that cannot be done. You'll have to purchase a different domain altogether, right? So if it is digitalvidya.com, I also want digitalvidya.in to work. I'll have to purchase that separately. I cannot create a .in domain myself, right? Basically, that is what I mean. Now, for top level domains, like I was saying, there can be multiple types as well. The first one that you can see are generic extensions, right? These are .com, .org, .net, and .info. These are generic types of extensions. Initially, when you wanted to create a .org website, you had to provide some information about your organization as well before you can purchase the domain, right? There is .gov as well that comes here, .gov, but this is reserved for government bodies. You cannot have a .gov website. These are generic extensions. You can take up .net, .org, .com, and .info as well if it's an informational website. .gov is reserved for government bodies. Then there are country specific extensions which depend on the country that you want to target, right? So if you are a domestic brand and you just want to target India as a country, you can go ahead with a .in domain as well. You don't really need a .com domain or any of the generic types of domains. You can go ahead with a .in domain as well if you just want to target India. A very good example in this case is Amazon. So if I visit amazon.in, this is their Indian version of the website, right? I am still visiting Amazon, but this is the website that is specifically built for India with all of the products and services that are available in our country, and the prices are also according to our country, right? If we were in a different country, we will be visiting a different website altogether. It can be, let's say, website amazon.eu, it can be amazon.ru, amazon.nz, right? Depending on the country that you are in. But I can also visit amazon.com. And now this is the main website. As you can see, everything is listed in dollars, right? Obviously, I can change that if I want to. But this is amazon.com and this is amazon.in. Both of these, you can see that it is a different website meant for different purposes. Amazon.in is the website that's targeting India. Amazon.com is their main website, basically for US, right? So this is the main website. So for each domain, if you want, you can create a different website and connect it with that domain, right? You can also, if you want, you can make 2 or 3 domains land on the same website. That also depends on you. So a lot of the times what brands or what businesses do is they purchase a bundle of domains so that nobody else can buy a domain name with their business's name, with their brand's name. Because these are listed for public, anybody can purchase them. So if you want to protect your brand identity, a better practice is that you purchase a bundle altogether. So you have the .com domain, .in domain, .xyz, .shop. All of the domains that you can find, you can purchase them all together to avoid hurting your brand identity. If anybody else purchases it, it can damage your identity. It can damage the brand itself. And sometimes businesses or brands, they also like to purchase some misspellings of their business. So if, for example, For Amazon, I can misspell it as amzn.com, and this will still take me to amazon.com. So they have purchased. Amazon is a big company. They don't need to purchase their domains. They don't need to purchase hosting service. They have their own hosting, right? They're not doing this. They're not outsourcing all of this. They have their own resources for all of these things first. But if it were a small business, if it were a small brand, you can purchase a misspelling of your brand's name. And if somebody types that in the URL bar, they'll still be landing on your website. So as to not lose out on any traction, not lose out on any visitor. Right? So that is also the case with domain names. You can purchase as many domain names as you want to, as long as it fits your budget and your plans. Now, to purchase these domains, basically, whenever you're purchasing a domain, it is a subscription based purchase, just like Netflix and Amazon Prime and any other subscription based purchase you make. You have to renew it annually or monthly or every 2 years, every 3 years. You can decide that, right? But it is a renewal based purchase that you're making. If you want, you can renew it every year, but for the sake of this course, you only have to purchase it for 1 year, right? Because for domains, usually you don't get monthly plans. You have to purchase it for a minimum period of 1 year. And to purchase them, there are multiple platforms out there, which are known as domain registrars, right? Such as GoDaddy, Hostinger, that we'll take a look at towards the end. We'll also take a look at GoDaddy just as an example. There is Namecheap. Google also provides domains. There is a Google Domains website. You can purchase it from Google as well. And there are a bunch of other domain registrars out there as well. These are the most popular ones, right? GoDaddy, I'm sure, even if you're not from a technical background, no, there is a very high chance that you've heard of GoDaddy already. Probably not about Hostinger or Namecheap, but there are very high chances that you heard about GoDaddy because they spent a lot on their marketing back then. So yeah, so these are the most popular ones. Like I said, it is a subscription based purchase, right? Some things that you need to make sure before purchasing a domain. It should be easy to remember, right? Not very easy also, and not very popular keyword also. So there are two sides of this coin. If it is very easy to remember, and if it is a very popular keyword, like I've mentioned here as well, if it is a very easy to remember domain and it is a very popular keyword, so anything that people are searching for on Google, that is a popular keyword, right? If it's searched in high volumes, it becomes a popular keyword. So if that is the case for your domain name and you want a generic domain that is .com, then the price for that domain will be very high. It will be very expensive if it falls under this category, right? But at the same time, the price can drastically reduce by just changing the extension. So instead of .com, if you go for .in, .xyz, or .shop or any other extension, you will see a price difference of a lot. Like it can change very drastically. It can be in lakhs or crores for a .com domain, and it can come back to like thousands or hundreds rupees in like by just changing the extension, right? And yes, like I said, there can be domains worth lakhs, worth crores as well, if it is a very popular keyword and if it's clubbed with a .com extension. Generally, for the domain names that you will be taking up, the cost will be in between 500 to 900 rupees per year. That's going to be the cost of the domain per year. But there's a catch here. We will be taking up a hosting plan from Hostinger, which gives us a free domain. So you will not have to purchase a domain separately. The hosting in the hosting plan itself, the domain name is included. Although you don't get a lot of options to choose from, but whatever domain name they provide, it can be worked with for the sake of names. Right? Now, there are a few other things that we will come back to sooner or later, right? But for now, this is what a domain name is, and these are all of the parts of a domain name. I'll just quickly go back and revisit that. There are three parts of a domain name. There is a top level domain, which is the rightmost part, .com, .co, .in, all of these. Then there is a second level domain, that is the name of the business or the brand itself. Then we have a subdomain, which is the leftmost part of your domain, which can be www.training.blog, etc., etc. And subdomain can be created. You can create a subdomain for your website, whatever. Right? These are the three parts of your domain. Since we don't have a lot of options to choose from, because we are going ahead with a free domain, we'll not get a lot of options to choose from, first of all, right? You can still finalize a name for your business or for your website that you're going to be building. Now, this website can be built around any hobbies or passions, whatever you have, right? If you want to keep it simple, you can build it around digital marketing as well. So your domain name should also be something that relates to your website. Okay, you will have today and tomorrow to decide the name and everything of your brand, of your business, or your website. Keep in mind that we are going to be building a blogging website. It's not an e-commerce website. We'll be just posting blogs here, right? No product pages, nothing like that. So it's a blogging website which can be created around any hobby or passion, whatever you have. Or if you want, you can keep it simple and create a website about digital marketing works. If you're not sure what website to create, you can build it around digital marketing as well. Then your domain name should also relate to the type of website you're building. If it's around your hobby or passion, the name should explain that, right? If somebody looks at your name, they should be able to tell what type of website they are visiting. That's number one. It should be easy to remember. These are some general thumb of rules whenever you're going ahead to buy a domain. There are multiple others as well, but like I said, we'll not get into very technicalities. So easy to remember, obviously, because that is how people will remember your name and will be able to search for you. No, try to avoid the use of special characters or numbers. Try to avoid the use of special characters or numbers in your domain. One second, let me check. Is it better now? Yeah. Yeah. So like I was saying, it should be easy to remember the domain name that you're purchasing so that it's easier for people to remember your website, and try to avoid the use of special characters or numbers in the domain name. So if we wanted, it could be digital-vidya.com, but most of the times when you're searching for Digital Vidya, you'll not enter the hyphen in between. Right? People will just enter digitalvidya.com. And if that domain is not with us, we can lose out on a visitor. Right? So try to avoid that as well. Then there are multiple other checks also that people usually do before they buy a domain. But over here for now, since we are going ahead with the free domain, we'll not have that liberty to check everything about a domain and then proceed with that. Right? So just remember these things and then go ahead for your domain purchase. Now, let's take a look at GoDaddy and Hostinger and their domain service. Let's take a look at that first, then we'll come to hosting. Before I do that, do you guys have any questions here? Anything from whatever we have discussed? Okay. Okay. Nitesh and Sachin, you guys have any questions? Anything that you want to contribute? Or anything that you feel if I missed out on anything?
No, sir.
All good?
Yeah.
Okay. So moving forward, एक बार let's take a look at GoDaddy. We'll also take a look at an example of a domain which is very expensive. जैसे मैंने बोला, if it is an easy to remember domain and if it's very popular keyword, it will be very expensive. So we'll take a look at that example as well. Let me first load up GoDaddy. And Hostinger as well. So this is what GoDaddy looks like. This GoDaddy is known more as a domain registrar. Not a lot of people, like, you can take up hosting from GoDaddy as well, but it's a domain first kind of website. Domains are their hero products, you can say. So let's search for a domain here. You just need to enter the name that you want. Let's say I want Go Green. Okay. If I want a specific extension, I can enter that also so that it shows me the same result. So let's say I want a gogreen.com domain. This is what I want. I'll search for it. And so this is a premium domain, like I said. If it is easy to remember, if it is a very popular keyword, and especially on GoDaddy, they market as premium domain. And this is the price that a domain is listed for. Right? So it can be very expensive depending on the domain that you're going ahead with. And like I said, if I just change the extension, if I just change .com, you can scroll down whenever you're searching for a domain, it will show you some alternatives. See how drastically the price changes. gogreen.org.in is listed for $750 per year, and this one is listed for this absurd amount. So then there are a few other examples. Go Greens. If I just change the spelling a little bit, also if I can play around with the spelling as well, then also the pricing can come down. Let's see, gogreen.run. This is the exact domain name, but just a different extension. And this is listed for 441 rupees. Right, so this is what this is the difference that the extensions can have on the pricing. And if you want, like I said, if you want to just play around with the spelling also, I can add an extra E here. Now let's see. Still very expensive, but a little better from that, right? You can keep playing around with the spelling if your name is coming up to be very expensive, and you'll find something eventually. Or you can proceed with the different extension. But if you want to target globally, then .com you'll have to go ahead with, and you'll have to just play around with the spelling. So in your use case, what your use case is, you have to first identify that where you want to target your website and whether a spelling change would work or not. Right? So all of these things you have to first identify, then you can proceed with the purchase. Also on GoDaddy, there are multiple types of offers that are out, and a lot of the times these offers seem too too good to be true, honestly. Like for example, this one here. This is gogreen.in, listed for rupee 1. Now this is like, you will not believe that, right? Obviously because it's listed for 1 rupee, but it's just too good to be true. So what happens is, you can see the offer listed below. This price is applicable only if I'm purchasing the domain for 3 years together. If I'm purchasing it for a 3-year term, then this price is listed will be available for me for the first year. So for the rest of the 2 years, I am paying the original price, that is 900 rupees, and just for the first year I am paying rupee 1. But I have to pay all together, which means I am paying around 1900 rupees for the domain once for 3 years. That is how this offer works. There is one more offer, this one that says for first year. Now in this case, this price is just for the first year, right? And if you want to renew your domain, you will be renewing that at the original price. So before making a purchase, always take a look at the original price and then decide, right? Although you are not going to purchase a domain really abhi ke liye, but still, right? If later on something like this occurs, you have to always take a look at the original price first and then decide whether you want the domain or not. Let's say I want this domain, I'll add it to my cart. Yeah, so this is added to my cart. I'll just move to my cart now. If you are purchasing it from GoDaddy, you have to, first of all, you don't need the domain protection if you're going for the course. If after the course you want to purchase a domain, if you want to build a website, then a domain protection is recommended. But for now, no domain protection will also work. Then you don't need an custom email address for now. This is something that you will be learning in the email marketing module. So you don't need to purchase the custom email address as well. You don't need the logo. Click on no thanks. Press continue to cart. Once you are on your cart, you have to select the term as well. For now, this is added for 2 years over here. So I'll click on the drop down, change it to 1 year, and then you can see the price that you have to pay for this year. Just make sure that nothing else is added. If you don't want anything else, just the domain name, nothing else in the cart, and then you can proceed to purchase this. Okay, so if you want to custom domain, you can purchase it from GoDaddy as well. It can be connected with your Hostinger website later on if you want to, but I would still recommend that you go ahead with the Hostinger plan because you get a domain for free. Now let's also take a look at Hostinger here. It's basically the same, right? So you go to services and then you go to domain name search here. Same thing, you search for the domain that you want. Let's say I want my name with a .com. I'll search for it. So it tells me that this domain is already taken. Now in this case also, you can either change the extension or play around with the spelling. Let's go ahead with double H. Let's see if this is available or not. Okay, this is also taken, but you can find some alternatives below. We change it to Indian prices. Right. So now I can find the domains here as well. Same thing, just like on GoDaddy. Make sure that you're looking at the original price. If you hover over this question mark, you'll be able to identify the offer that they're giving. Best price available with a minimum 3-year term. Discount applies to the first year only with renewal at regular price. The same thing that we saw on GoDaddy. The main thing that you need to take from Hostinger is you need to go to services. Now this is what you have to do before your next session, that is day after tomorrow on Wednesday. You have to purchase the hosting before the next session, and to do that I have a link for you guys. This is the link where you can apply the 10% coupon code. I'm sharing this in the chat. Make sure to copy this and paste it somewhere. If you visit this link at your end, you'll be taken to Hostinger, the same platform. Over here, you need to go to services. Then you need to go to managed hosting for WordPress. Okay, we'll go for the managed hosting. That is, like I said, there can be multiple types of hosting. You can see all of those here. These are the types that Hostinger offers. We are going for this one specifically here because in the managed hosting, what Hostinger does is it basically, one second, let me list it here. So in the managed hosting, the service that we are taking up, Hostinger does a lot of the work for you. It automates a lot of the work, such as regular updates and backups. Right? If we don't go ahead with that plan here, that is the managed hosting plan. If you don't go ahead with this plan, you will have to manually do all of the updates. You have to manually make all of the backups of your website. Whereas in the managed hosting, Hostinger will do that for us. And anything else that needs a regular checkup, Hostinger will do that for us as well. Right? Because not everybody is from a technical background. A lot of the times it can be very confusing. So we let Hostinger take over all of that and we'll just focus on building the website. So we'll go for the managed hosting for WordPress. If you scroll down on this page, you'll first of all you'll be able to find all of the things that they are giving to you in this hosting, right? But it's more or less the same thing. Then you scroll down, and now over here you have a choice to make. My recommendation: go for the premium plan. Okay, because this is the plan that gives you a free domain for 1 year. But if you want to purchase a domain separately and purchase the hosting separately, then you can go for a single plan also. Right? Depends on you. My recommendation is to go for the premium.
Provide the hosting and domain. Oh.
Yeah. So if you go for the premium plan, you don't have to purchase the domain separately. Okay, so you don't have to search for it separately, you don't have to purchase it separately. You just need to purchase this premium plan and they will give you a domain for free for a period of 1 year along with the hosting. Okay, these are the monthly charges, 150 per month, but this is the price that you see here. This will be the price when you pay for it annually. So if I click on choose plan, let's say, okay, let's also take a look at that. If I click on choose plan, once again select the period. Okay, for now 48 months is selected and that is why you see a 7,000 price here. So we'll change this to 12 months. We want it for 1 year. This is the price for 1 year. You can apply a DV10 coupon. This is just a 10% off, not a lot, but still something is better than nothing. So we can take a 10% off here as well. And this is the final price of your domain and hosting, both of these, right? So if you go for a monthly plan, let me also show you that you'll end up paying more if you go for a monthly plan, right? And you'll not get a domain for free if you go for a monthly plan for the premium one, because if you change it to 1 year, the offer reduces and the original price is 599 per month, right? The offer price is only if you purchase it for a period of 1 year together, that is 197 per month. So if you go for the monthly plan, you'll end up paying more, right? Even if you close down your website within 6 months, that is the period of this course, 4 to 5 months, right? Even if you close your website within that time, then also you will end up paying more for 5 months, whereas you'll pay 2300 over here for 1 year. You will pay 600 every year for the hosting, every month for the hosting.
But you go to the yearly plan.
Yeah, yearly plan is the best one, right? And the premium option also, because in the single plan you don't get a domain for free, then you'll have to purchase the domain separately. So you'll also have to pay for the domain, you'll also pay for the hosting. So the premium plan is a little better in that case. You can, if you want, I can show you the single plan as well. You can find the things that they give for a single plan. You can create one website, you get 10 GB of storage. You also get a mailbox along with this. You can create a custom mail if you want. And these are the things that are common for every plan. So they give a free SSL certificate. SSL certificate is what encrypts your data of your website and protects your website from threats. You get weekly auto backups. You'll get this for all of the plans. And if you want, you can migrate your website as well to a different hosting provider for free. This also you'll get in all of the plans. In the premium plan, you get free domain for 1 year. Additionally, you also have the websites will be maintained for you. So auto backups, data recovery, and regular maintenance, all of that included here as well. And then you get extra control over your website using the WordPress commanding, right? Also, in this plan, you create up to 25 websites. So you can create, you have 25 GB of storage and you have 2 mailboxes instead of 1 year. So that's what you get in the premium plan. If you select the single plan, if you go for the yearly payment, it will come down very similar to the premium plan. So if I change it to 12 months, 1908 rupees, let's also apply the coupon here. So it goes down to 1717 rupees, right? But remember that you'll have to purchase a domain separately in this case. So depending on the price of your domain, this will be very similarly priced, because the domain will be for something around 500-600 rupees, and eventually you will pay 2300 2400. So if you go for the premium plan, you'll get both of those things. You'll not have to find a separate domain. You'll not have to make all of that separately. It can be done in a single thing, right? But if you can find a cheaper domain, you can go ahead with a single web hosting plan also. I have nothing against that, right? You can go for a single web hosting plan and purchase a domain separately if you find a cheaper domain for yourself. Okay, so now the choice is yours. You can decide whether you want the single plan or the premium plan, and the domain name as well is something that you have to decide for yourself. To help you with the domain name selection, I can show you a website, right, which will help you in the name selection or finalizing the name. But over here, do you have any questions before we proceed to that? Oh, good. Okay. Also, you have to purchase this before the next session so that we can get started with the practical stuff from the second session onwards.
Sir, I am confused, sir. Totally.
Yes, Nitesh.
Sir, I am totally confused what I do, what I learn in this class.
You are confused about what?
What I learn in this class.
In this class, आज तो we are just creating a basic foundation and we are learning about the platforms that we will be using, right? तो उसके लिए आपको होस्टिंगर यूज करना है आपके होस्टिंग लेने के लिए और डोमेन लेने के लिए. You have to use होस्टिंगर for that. होस्टिंगर से आप या तो सिंगल वेब होस्टिंग वाला प्लान ले सकते हो जैसे मैंने अभी दिखाया आपको, या फिर आप प्रीमियम वाला प्लान ले सकते हो. आपके ऊपर डिपेंड करता है, बट आपको वो 1 साल के लिए लेना है.
सर ये नेक्स्ट क्लास में हम लोग का क्या पढ़ाया जाएगा?
नेक्स्ट क्लास से हम लोग वेबसाइट बिल्ड करना स्टार्ट करेंगे, क्योंकि पहले हमें डोमेन नेम और होस्टिंग चाहिए, उसके बिना हम वेबसाइट स्टार्ट नहीं कर सकते. तो आपको पहले वो करना है और फिर नेक्स्ट क्लास से हम लोग एक्चुअली वेबसाइट पे काम करना शुरू करेंगे वर्डप्रेस के साथ.
अभी हम लोग क्या करें सर कि ये होस्टिंगर, ये वेबसाइट डोमेन नेम और होस्ट आईडी ले गया खरीदना पड़ेगा?
हाँ, ये आपको एक्स्ट्रा एक कॉस्ट है जो आपको करना पड़ेगा अभी के लिए फॉर द डोमेन और होस्टिंग. एक वेबसाइट है जिसमें आप सैंडबॉक्स वेबसाइट बना सकते हो विच इज फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट, बट उसके कुछ लिमिटेशंस हैं. मैं आपको एक बार दिखा देता हूँ. फिर भी there is a platform pantheon.io. It basically allows you to create sandbox websites, जैसे ट्रायल वेबसाइट्स होते हैं. तो यहाँ पे आप ट्रायल वेबसाइट्स बना सकते हो इस प्लेटफॉर्म को यूज करके. आप बस गूगल से साइन इन करो, राइट? यहाँ पे क्रिएट माई अकाउंट करके बस गूगल से साइन अप कर लो और उसके बाद आप एक पैंथियन पे वेबसाइट क्रिएट कर सकते हो. आई थिंक मेरे पास एक वेबसाइट है. सो ये मेरी जो वेबसाइट है ये पैंथियन पे है, राइट? दिस इज अ सैंडबॉक्स वेबसाइट. मैंने इस पे कुछ पे नहीं किया, ये फ्री वेबसाइट है एकदम. इसके कुछ लिमिटेशंस हैं. एक की स्टोरेज बहुत कम रहती है, राइट? सेकंड की स्पीड भी बहुत स्लो हो जाती है बिकॉज आपके पास स्टोरेज कम है. आपको उतनी ज़्यादा वो लोग चीज़ें प्रोवाइड नहीं करते हैं बिकॉज यू आर बिल्डिंग योर वेबसाइट फॉर फ्री. एंड नंबर 3 इज ये वेबसाइट इज लाइक इट कैन क्रैश एनी टाइम बिकॉज कुछ भी सेव्ड नहीं है. आई मीन इट इज सेव्ड, बट अगर कुछ भी दिक्कत आती है कल को तो वेबसाइट क्रैश हो सकती है बहुत जल्दी. बट अगर आपको फिर भी ट्राई करना है तो आप पैंथियन ट्राई कर सकते हो. You can create your website for free. You don't have to purchase a domain name as well for this.
सर अभी जो हम लोग डोमेन परचेज करेंगे वो किसी बिजनेस के तौर पर भी काम आ सकता है क्या?
मतलब
क्या
अभी
मतलब अभी
अभी
अगर हम चाहते हैं कि अभी हम एक जिम का वेबसाइट बनाना चाहते हैं,
ओके
ऐसे ही जैसे प्रैक्टिस वगैरह, अभी
तो आप
जैसे हम सर जिम के लिए बनाना चाहते हैं वेबसाइट,
हाँ
सर अभी हम चाहते हैं कि ये जो आप सिखा रहे हैं इसमें वेबसाइट डेवलपमेंट, हम उसमें डोमेन नेम लें और खरीदें इसलिए जिम कंपनी के नाम से।
कर सकते हो, आप वो भी कर सकते हो. बट अभी के लिए हम लोग सिर्फ एक ब्लॉगिंग वेबसाइट में है, जैसे मैंने पहले बोला था. बाद में जाके आप उसमें अपने जिम के डिटेल्स वगैरह डाल सकते हो. उसके अंदर आप डायरेक्टली प्रोडक्ट पेजेस वगैरह डाल सकते हो जहाँ से लोग सीधा परचेज कर पाए सब्सक्रिप्शन अपनी. वो आप बाद
अभी
में
सर
कर
अभी
सकते
तो
हो. हाँ
लर्निंग के कारण नहीं पढ़ेंगे।
राइट राइट, अभी हम सिर्फ ब्लॉगिंग वेबसाइट के ही गोल से आगे बढ़ेंगे.
ठीक है सर, किस नाम से ले हम डोमेन?
डोमेन आप अगर आप अपना जिम के नाम से लेना चाह रहे हो आप ले सकते हो वो भी. और आगे चल के आप उसको उसके अंदर कुछ और पेजेस डाल के कुछ और ब्लॉग्स वगैरह डाल के उसे अपने जिम के पर्पज से भी यूज कर सकते हो. तो वो
सर
हो
वेबसाइट का
सकता है.
नाम हम भी चेंज कर सकते हैं क्या सर बाद में?
डोमेन नेम जैसे मैंने बोला आप चेंज नहीं कर सकते हो. वेबसाइट का नाम चेंज करने के लिए आपको डोमेन नेम ही पूरा दूसरा परचेज करना पड़ेगा.
अच्छा ठीक
राइट. तो अगर जैसे मान लो आपके जिम का नाम है anytimefitness.com, आपकी एक
हाँ
डोमेन है आपने परचेज किया. अगर कल को आप अपने जिम का नाम बदलते हो, ठीक है, 24 आवर फिटनेस कर देते हो फॉर एग्जाम्पल, तो आपको 24hourfitness.com डोमेन अलग से परचेज करना पड़ेगा.
अच्छा
उसको आप चेंज नहीं कर सकते हो बाद में.
ठीक है सर। सर डोमेन और क्या खरीदना पड़ेगा? डोमेन नेम और
डोमेन नेम और होस्टिंग. तो अगर आप जो मैं ये प्लान दिखा रहा हूँ आपको होस्टिंगर का प्रीमियम प्लान मैनेज्ड, अगर आप होस्टिंगर की वेबसाइट पे जाओगे, मैंने ये लिंक भेजा है चार्ट में जूम पे, उनकी वेबसाइट पे जाके सर्विसेज पे मैनेज्ड होस्टिंग फॉर वर्डप्रेस का एक ऑप्शन आएगा.
हाँ सर
अगर आप वहां पे जाके नीचे स्क्रॉल करोगे और जो ये प्लान है वो एक बार दिखा दूंगा आपको. हाँ, यहाँ पे ये 4 प्लान है इनके पास. अगर आप ये प्रीमियम वाला प्लान लेते हो जो ये बीच वाला है,
हाँ सर
तो फिर आपको डोमेन नेम अलग से अभी के लिए परचेज करने की जरूरत नहीं है. वो डोमेन आपको फ्री देंगे 1 साल के. तो प्रैक्टिस के लिए आप ये वाला डोमेन यूज कर सकते हो. और फिर आगे चल के अगर आपको आपकी वेबसाइट यूज में रखनी है तो आप एक अलग से डोमेन परचेज करके उसके साथ कनेक्ट कर देना.
ठीक है
ठीक है, मतलब आप ये कर सकते हो. और आपको ये जो प्लान है, जौन सा भी प्लान आप परचेज करोगे, कोई सा भी प्लान लो सिंगल या प्रीमियम, आपको वो
हाँ सर
1 साल के लिए परचेज करना.
ठीक ठीक
ठीक है, मंथली अगर आप पे करोगे तो वो ज्यादा ही हो जाएगा बिकॉज वो प्राइस चेंज हो जाता है जैसे ही आप उसे मंथली प्राइसिंग करोगे. ठीक है, तो 1 साल के लिए आपको ये परचेज करना है सिंगल या प्रीमियम जौन सा भी करो. और नेक्स्ट सेशन से पहले आपको
सर नेक्स्ट सेशन कल ही है ना?
नेक्स्ट सेशन है हमारा थर्सडे.
ठीक हाँ
आगे आपको मेल आया होगा, जैसे आप एक बार मेल चेक कर लेना, उसमें पूरा स्केड्यूल है नेक्स्ट वीक का भी और इस वीक का भी.
ठीक है सर।
ठीक है,
ये सर रिकॉर्डिंग सेशन किस में मिलेगा?
ये रिकॉर्डिंग मिलेगा आपको आपके LMS अकाउंट पे. जो मेल है ना, वेलकम ईमेल टीम ने भेजा होगा आपको एक. वेलकम ईमेल में देखना नीचे training.digitalvidya.com करके एक लिंक होगा, उसके नीचे यूजर नेम और पासवर्ड है आपके अकाउंट का. तो उस वाले अकाउंट पे आपको ये रिकॉर्डिंग कल मिल जाएगी 3-4 बजे के आसपास.
ठीक है ठीक है।
ठीक है,
और सर इसमें नोट्स भी मिलेगा क्या?
ये वाले नोट्स अगर आप लोग चाहते हो तो मैं आपके साथ एक टेम्पररी लिंक शेयर कर सकता हूँ. बट ये लिंक बाद में जाके हट जाएगा. ये टेम्पररी ही होता है.
यार फिर सर हम लोग का ग्रुप बना लीजिए, ग्रुप में डालते रहिएगा नोट्स, व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप।
हम लोग व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप्स यार रितेश, हम लोग व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप्स नहीं क्रिएट करते हैं सेशंस के लिए. आप लोग अगर चाहते हो अभी, जैसे अभी तो 2 ही लोग हो आप, क्योंकि वेबसाइट सेशन है, आगे कोर मॉड्यूल्स में जाके और भी लोग होंगे, तो अगर आप लोग बैच, पूरा बैच अगर मानता है तो आप लोग अपना एक अनऑफिशियल व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप क्रिएट कर सकते
ठीक है सर।
हैं। What if I already have a website with domain? Can we use that? Yeah, Ronald, you can use it as long as you are okay to make changes on that website, right? And also it should be on WordPress, because WordPress ही हम लोग करने वाले हैं, so it should be on WordPress. And if you're okay in making some changes onto the website, because वो वेबसाइट को नेगेटिवली पॉजिटिवली दोनों तरीके से इफेक्ट कर सकता है, राइट? सो अगर इफ यूर कंफर्टेबल डूइंग दैट, यू कैन यूज दैट एग्जिस्टिंग वेबसाइट आल्सो।
सॉरी, आपका वॉइस ब्रेक हो जाएगा, वापस रिपीट करो।
मैं बोल रहा था कि आप एग्जिस्टिंग वेबसाइट यू कैन यूज अगर आप कंफर्टेबल हो उसमें चेंजेस करने के लिए,
ओके,
राइट? बिकॉज जब आप चेंजेस करोगे वो आपकी वेबसाइट को पॉजिटिवली भी इफेक्ट कर सकता है, कुछ चेंजेस नेगेटिवली भी इफेक्ट कर सकते हो, राइट? तो ऑल्सो वो वर्डप्रेस पे भी होनी चाहिए, अगर वो वर्डप्रेस पे है तो आप कर सकते हो, ठीक है? ओके, सो या अभी आप लोगों को क्योंकि डोमेन नेम आपका फाइनल करना होगा, राइट? आपके पास एक अच्छा सा डोमेन नेम होना चाहिए वेबसाइट स्टार्ट करने से पहले। उसके लिए आई यू कैन थिंक ऑफ द डोमेन नेम्स, दैट इज ऑब्वियसली ट्रू। थिंक अबाउट द डोमेन नेम दैट यू वांट। अगर यू आर फेसिंग डिफिकल्टीज, आपको नहीं समझ आ रहा है कि क्या डोमेन परचेज करो या क्या डोमेन आप वेबसाइट के साथ कनेक्ट करो, सो देयर इज अ वेबसाइट namelix.com. I am sharing this link in the chat. namelix.com ये वेबसाइट है, यहाँ पे आप जा सकते हो, अपने वेबसाइट से रिलेटेड कीवर्ड्स यहाँ पे डालो। जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल नितेश, आप बोल रहे हो कि आपको एक जिम के अराउंड वेबसाइट क्रिएट करना है, राइट? तो यहाँ पे मैं डालता हूँ फिटनेस जिम ब्लॉग्स, क्योंकि हम ब्लॉगिंग वेबसाइट बना रहे हैं तो वो भी एक कीवर्ड डाल देते हैं, ये 3 कीवर्ड। एंड अगर मैं जनरेट पे क्लिक करूंगा, ऑटो पे रहने देते हैं इसको, वील मूव फॉरवर्ड, एक सेकेंड। तो ये ऑटो पे ही है। नेक्स्ट, रैंडमनेस में ये भी आप चेंज कर सकते हो, अगर आप चाहो लो रख सकते हो, मीडियम, हाई। बेसिकली बहुत रैंडम नेम्स क्रिएट करते हैं अगर आप हाई करोगे तो वैसे बैलेंस रखते हैं मीडियम पे। देन वी क्लिक ऑन नेक्स्ट। अब यहाँ पे वी हैव टू डिफाइन हमारा जो ब्रांड है, जो भी वेबसाइट है, उसे थोड़ा सा और डिफाइन करना है। ये कीवर्ड्स हमने दे दिए इसको। नीचे लेट्स से हम डाल देते हैं फिटनेस ब्लॉगिंग वेबसाइट, ठीक है? दिस इज द डिस्क्रिप्शन। इफ आई क्लिक ऑन जनरेट, तो ये मेरे को काफी सारे, इट विल गिव मी अ लॉट ऑफ नेम्स जो भी उससे रिलेट करेंगे। सो जो भी इंफॉर्मेशन मैंने दी है उसके बेसिस पे इट इज गिविंग मी ऑल ऑफ दीज नेम्स हियर। देयर आर मल्टीपल endless names that it will suggest। तो आपको जो भी नाम पसंद आ रहा है यू कैन गो ahead with that, राइट? जब आप प्रीमियम प्लान परचेज करोगे, अगर आप प्रीमियम प्लान परचेज करना चाह रहे हो होस्टिंग का, उसको परचेज करने के बाद में ऑप्शन आता है डोमेन नेम ऐड करने का, ठीक है? तो आपको पहले से परचेज नहीं करना है डोमेन नेम, ना ही सर्च करना है। जब आप प्रीमियम प्लान परचेज कर लोगे उसके बाद एक एक करके ये सारे नाम डाल के वहां देख लेना जो भी आपको पसंद आ रहे हैं। मेक अ लिस्ट ऑफ एटलीस्ट 5 to 6 नेम्स फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल जो आप फाइनल करना चाहते हो। ट्राई एडिंग ऑल ऑफ दोज नेम्स देयर, बिकॉज अ लॉट ऑफ द टाइम्स हो सकता है कि जो नाम आप चाहते हो वो अवेलेबल ना हो, राइट? इट इज ऑलरेडी टेकन। सो टू अवॉइड दैट, हैव अ लिस्ट ऑफ 5 to 6 नेम्स, एंटर वन बाय वन, एंड जो भी अवेलेबल हो यू कैन गो अहेड विद इट, राइट? This is दिस वेबसाइट इज जस्ट फॉर इंस्पिरेशन पर्पसेस. तो यहाँ से अगर आपको कुछ पसंद आ रहा है आप ले सकते हो, नहीं पसंद आ रहा है तो इट कैन गिव यू अ गुड sort of inspiration for your domain. Right? ठीक है, एक बार वापस आते हैं नोट्स पे. या सो होस्टिंग हम लोग ऑलरेडी पहले ब्रीफ में डिस्कस कर चुके हैं. अभी हम लोग डोमेन नेम्स वी आर डन विद द डोमेन नेम्स. होस्टिंग में ऑलरेडी डिस्कस्ड वेरी ब्रीफली. हमने प्लेटफॉर्म भी देख लिया कहाँ से परचेज करना है और वो क्या क्या चीजें हमें ऑफर कर रहा है फॉर द प्राइस. राइट, वी ऑलरेडी सीन दैट. लाइक आई सेड, इट होस्टिंग सर्विस या होस्टिंग प्रोवाइडर जो है, इट गिव्स यू द टेक्नोलॉजी and the space for your files. Technology for making it available online on the internet ताकि बाकी लोगों से विजिट कर पाए, and it gives you the space for all of your files as we discussed earlier. There are multiple types of hosting जो हम ले रहे हैं, that is a managed hosting plan, right? उसके बारे में like we discussed. It has auto backup, auto update, some regular maintenance work जो भी है. The hosting provider does that for you if you're purchasing a managed hosting plan. But जो managed hosting है, it in itself is a shared hosting. The type of hosting that we're using is a shared hosting. That is why ये इतना ज़्यादा हमें cheap मिल रहा है. Otherwise आप सोचो कि आप किसी को ये टेक्नोलॉजी प्रोवाइड कर रहे हो कि योर वेबसाइट विल बी विजिबल टू एवरीबडी ऑन द इंटरनेट, और मैं आपको अपने सिस्टम पे स्पेस भी दे रहा हूँ 10 GB और 20 GB और 50 GB, एंड आई एम गिविंग दैट फॉर ओनली 150 रुपीज. राइट, सो इट्स वेरी चीप बिकॉज इट इज अ शेयर्ड होस्टिंग. अगर आप एक इंडिविजुअल होस्टिंग, अपनी खुद की होस्टिंग लेते हो, दैट इज वेरी एक्सपेंसिव. शेयर्ड होस्टिंग में क्या होता है, they have one system. Let's say हमारे पास एक CPU है, right? It can be an online system, it can be a physical server also. Online server हो सकता है, physical server हो सकता है, both types of हो सकते हैं. There is a single server, उसमें maximum space है let's say 10 TB, right? In one server I have 10 TB of space. वो 10 TB अब मैं अलग अलग छोटे छोटे पार्ट्स में करके different people को rent out कर रहा हूँ. So I'm giving, let's say 10 GB to somebody, 50 GB to somebody, 1 TB to somebody, right? But on a single server. That is a shared hosting. एक ही सर्वर पे मल्टीपल वेबसाइट्स जब होस्टिंग प्रोवाइडर आपको देता है, that is a type of shared hosting. In our case, we are taking a managed shared hosting. आप ऐसे करके उसे डिफाइन कर सकते हो एक तरह से. And that is why it is this cheap, otherwise it is very expensive, right? Now to put it into perspective, एक बार बस एक एग्जाम्पल हम लोग देख लेते हैं, right? Just a physical world example so that everything fits into place, और हम लोग एक बार उसे थोड़ा सा वापस kind of a whole circle kind of a thing बना पाए. So let's say आप अपना एक बिजनेस खोलना चाहते हो, you want to open a store, right? उसके लिए what you have to do is, पहले तो आपको आपके बिजनेस का नाम चाहिए होगा एक, right? You need a name for your business or your store, जो भी आप फिजिकली खोलना चाहते हो. और दूसरा, you need a land for it, you need a space for it wherever you build that store, right? Usually it is a rented space. Same case here, you are paying every year, right? तो अगर हम उसी को कन्वर्ट करें टू ऑनलाइन सिनेरियो, द स्टोर इटसेल्फ, जो आपका स्टोर है, वो ऑनलाइन सिनेरियो में कन्वर्ट हो गया वेबसाइट बन जाएगा, राइट? जो आपका लैंड या स्पेस आप ले रहे हो, वो ऑनलाइन सिनेरियो में कन्वर्ट होके होस्टिंग बन जाएगा, एंड जो आपके ब्रांड का नेम है, जो स्टोर का नाम है, दैट कन्वर्ट्स टू डोमेन, राइट? सो अगर ये फिजिकल वर्ल्ड की बात करूँ मैं, सो इट कैन बी अ फिजिकल स्टोर. उसके ऊपर मैंने वो लिखा हुआ है वेबसाइट होस्टिंग एंड डोमेन नेम. यहाँ पे फिजिकल स्टोर होगा. यहाँ पे आप एक लैंड यू हैव टू परचेज और रेंट, and domain name is the name of the store, right? हाँ, सो अगर हम इसको ऑनलाइन कन्वर्ट कर देंगे तो ये 3 चीजों में कन्वर्ट होगा, सेम चीज, राइट? तो जब आपको कोई कोई भी कुछ परचेज करना चाहता है तो ऑब्वियसली उसको स्टोर में आना पड़ेगा, तभी वो परचेज कर पाएगा, राइट? अदरवाइज ही विल नॉट बी एबल टू परचेज. सेम इज द केस हियर. जब तक कोई मेरे वेबसाइट पे नहीं आ रहा है तब तक पीपल विल नॉट बी एबल टू परचेज फ्रॉम, राइट? या फिर नो मोर अबाउट. क्योंकि अलॉट ऑफ द टाइम्स जब आप फर्स्ट टाइम विजिटर होते हो किसी वेबसाइट पे, यू डोंट मेक द परचेज इंस्टेंट, राइट? यू वांट टू नो मोर अबाउट द ब्रांड, यू वांट टू नो मोर अबाउट द वेबसाइट. एक बार वो ट्रस्ट बिल्ड होता है फिर आप परचेज करते हो, राइट? वो तो चलो बात की बात है, बट उतना भी करने के लिए आई वॉन्ट पीपल टू लैंड ऑन माई वेबसाइट. एंड उसमें जो भी एफर्ट जाता है, अगर मैं फिजिकल में वापस से बात करूं और इफ वी टॉकिंग अबाउट रियल वर्ल्ड सिनेरियो, तो उस केस में अगर मैं चाहता हूं कि लोग मेरे स्टोर पे आए, व्हाट विल आई हैव टू डू? आई हैव टू मार्केट इट, right? Advertise it. I'll have to put up billboards. I'll have to put up pamphlets, and all of those things with my address, with the name of the store, stuff like that. Same thing. Online scenario, if I want people to visit my website, all of the efforts that makes people to visit the website, more digital marketing.
Got it.
Right? And that is why we are creating this website first, so that we can understand all of the concepts of digital marketing a little better. Right? Because until and unless आपके पास एक landing page है, एक website नहीं है, you will not be able to understand it end to end. You will understand the middle part, but you will not understand कि वो actual में वहाँ पे हो कैसे, right? And that is why we keep the website sessions first. यही पर्पस है इन वाले सेशंस का एंड वेबसाइट पे डिपेंड करता है. द प्लेटफॉर्म वर्डप्रेस के बारे में भी डिस्कस्ड अ लिटिल बिट. we'll just discuss about it a little more, right? जो वर्डप्रेस है, it is a type of CMS, right? There are multiple other types of CMS platforms also. A very popular one nowadays is Wix.com. There is Shopify, and there are multiple others also. All of these are CMS, content management system, right? These are the platforms जहाँ पे आप अपना content create कर रहे हो और manage कर रहे हो. On whatever content, whatever files you have on your website, you create them on this platform and you manage them using this platform. That is what a CMS is, right? Yeah. In our case, WordPress जो है, it is a coding free platform. You don't need coding to work on your website, right? You don't need to understand any of the languages as well. अगर आपको कोई language नहीं आती है, you're not from a technical background, you can still build your website on WordPress without all of that, right? But yes, अगर if you have that knowledge, if you know about languages, that is a bonus point because आप कुछ additional चीजें कर पाओगे. But even if you don't know about it, there are plugins for everything. What are plugins? We'll talk about that once we start with the website.
सर ये वेबसाइट इसमें कितना पावरफुल बनता है, मतलब कि कितना हैवी बन सकता है वेबसाइट वर्डप्रेस पर?
वर्डप्रेस का वेबसाइट होस्टिंग पे डिपेंड करता है वो. तो जो आप होस्टिंग प्लान ले रहे हो उस पर डिपेंड करेगा. होस्टिंगर पे जैसे कि आपके पास जो प्रीमियम प्लान है उसमें हाँ, तो यहाँ पे 25 GB स्पेस मिल रहा है. राइट। तो अगर और इसका स्पीड होस्टिंग इज प्रीटी गुड, देयर इज मतलब इससे डाउन टाइम वगैरह भी नहीं ज़्यादा रहता है होस्टिंग पर, तो आप अच्छा खासा पावरफुल वेबसाइट क्रिएट कर सकते हो। बट हाँ, कोडेड वेबसाइट जितना लिबर्टी नहीं होगा आपके पास कि आप सब कुछ भी कर सकते हो जितना आपको कोडिंग आता है, बट येस यू कैन क्रिएट पावरफुल वेबसाइट्स यूजिंग वर्डप्रेस। मल्टीपल फैक्टर्स हैं, एक तो होस्टिंग हो गया, एक आप थीम कौन सा यूज कर रहे हो, आप पेजेस कैसे हैं, कैसा कंटेंट है, बहुत सारी चीजें, बट हाँ कर सकते हो आप अच्छी खासी वेबसाइट।